Hello there, I'm Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to another video here on the channel. As you can tell, this is a speed build video, but it's a little bit differently than the rest of them. So I already had this build, and I actually done this build a while back ago, like before seasons, like I started it. And if you're one of the few people that actually hopped up onto my Twitch at one point in time, this was a build that I was actually trying to do on stream. And I did have a few people watching here and there while I built it, and it took quite a while to do a lot of the rocks and stuff. Those rocks that you see down at the bottom are going to be the tables and chairs that are part of, I don't remember if they're base game or Granite Falls. Granite Falls, the outdoor retreat. It's one of those, but so I just lined those around. I did put walls up just to have like a guide of where to put things and stuff like that, and also I wanted it to be like very dark underneath because I was thinking about trying to use the underneath. I do eventually use the underneath, but I actually make it seem like they've dug down inside the hill and like sort of burrowed a hole up underneath it instead of actually letting the rocks be exposed and show, even though there is walls down there already. But I haven't really got around to getting back on Twitch, and I'm not really sure if I'm fully ready to go to Twitch still yet. There's something about Twitch streaming that is a little awkward for me. I don't really know why, but I think, and I've always more have had a passion for like actually doing YouTube and things like that, and you know, just sort of stuff along that line. Anyway, I had a phone call in the middle of my voiceover. Lovely timing. Anyway, it was my job, so I sort of couldn't ignore it. Anyway, but yeah, the whole Twitch thing, I don't know, I still feel a little awkward about it, and I just feel more comfortable with YouTube right now, and things like that. And also, that's just what I always really was wanting to do. I honestly wanted to do YouTube way before it became like a popular thing to try to do. I wanted to do it even before monetization was a thing, and I just wanted to do it for fun, but I just never had the means to actually be able to do it, and also I wasn't confident enough to do it. I still struggle here and there sometimes, but I definitely am a lot better now. So anyway, on to a different point. So I decided that I was just going to go ahead and finish this build, and I was going to record it so that if any of the people that did watch it on the on the stream wanted to finally see what it was finished, they could. And also, just because it wasn't like hugely far along, it wasn't like a whole lot of it was going to be missing. But if you watch the stream, then you know who this build was for. It's one of the few builds that I actually intended it for someone right away, and it's for Sylveon, because I do imagine that Sylveon eventually is, well, I mean, they're all going to eventually move, and I do have plans of actually using some of the builds that I've already built for some of them, which you'll see those reoccur eventually once I decide which ones go for who and stuff like that. But this one was built with the full intention that Sylveon is going to be the one living here. In my mind, she is going to move into this place possibly soon, but definitely before she ever gets to a point where she's actually moving in with someone. But she knows, like, I kept this in mind, like, if I was basically my Sylveon, and, like, make sure you gotta have cutesy and fairy looking and pretty and stuff like that, and I wanted it to be, like, sort of, like, unique and magical and things like that. Some people do a lot better than people could have took this and done a whole lot better than I did, but I still really like how it turned out and things like that. But it does have a master bedroom and then 3 other bedrooms. Two of them I didn't even decorate in this video because of the fact that where I immediately know who's moving into this building, and and it might be soonish, so I didn't decorate those other 2 because I would imagine that maybe she built or bought this house with the intentions of knowing maybe she was going to get maybe some pets, or maybe she would eventually have kids, or, you know, different things like that. One is a guest room, and its full intention is to be a guest room. I mean, she's a part of the Eevee family, so I'd imagine that she could probably have guests come over a lot and actually stay over. But other things that I took into factor was not only because she is part of the Eevee family, but just who she is in general. So some of it is not necessarily fully Sylveon, like, thinking-wise. Like, I do eventually put, like, a bar up top, and I don't think, like, Sylveon uses the bar occasionally at the house that she's at now, but I don't think she uses as much as, especially her sister Glaceon. But I think even Leafeon would probably use it a little bit more than she would, just because that's how Sylveon is. But she does have a bar in this build because of the fact that she is a part of the Eevee family. She's gonna have guests over, she's gonna have family over, and there's a lot of members of her family that actually would use the bar and actually would like to have the bar as an option. So it's more of, some of it are elements of more of thinking when people come over to visit her versus her herself, but she is the type that would be thinking about her family when she's in the midst of actually building a house for herself. She'd be like, oh, well, she's the type of person who's like, oh, well, I need this because I need it for my family, or this definitely is a must because my family's going to be coming over. Things like that, because that's how she sort of thinks, that's how, she would sort of operate. I did move these rock things here, and I really hate it because I didn't realize it until I went to go. Well, first my niece wanted to see a tour of it, because part of this is actually built when my nieces are here, like, mainly the decorating part, but there was a few bit of the building part because they came down and they spent the night, so I was working on it before they came down, and they came down and then they spent the night, and they hadn't woke up yet, but I had, so I was finishing it up. And they were letting me finish it because I was getting close, but there may be some more strange cuts than usual, just because I would have to stop and help them with something on the Switch, or answer a question, or go get them food, or something along those lines. So, you know, there might be a few weird cuts. I do take the bathrooms out, except for the master bathroom, because even though I don't show the part of me actually building, like, the full-on setup, because I made so many changes and I did add on a whole section underneath, like, that rock area, it still ended up taking a while for me to finish it, and the video's still a little bit on the longer side, because I take forever on builds. I get so detail-oriented and things like that. But I did make quite a few changes, like I don't think I'm gonna do it yet, because this is Sylveon's, master bedroom. This is her room. Whoever she gets with, I gotta say, they better hope that they really are tolerant of pink, or that Sylveon will at least budge on maybe the wallpaper color. But, this would be her master bedroom, and I really like the fact that it was detached. And, you'll also notice that I am using custom content in this, because I did start the build with custom content, so I had to finish it with custom content. But, the lights and stuff like that, it was really dark in here, and I wanted to use the lights that I used. I actually ended up changing the lights in here, though, for custom content lights, because they were structured similarly to these, but not exactly. So no, this would have been after Seasons, because of those. I think I started it right before Seasons, and then finished it after, like, part of it was after Seasons, I think is how it occurred. But anyway, I changed the lights, and you can see there's the double lights, and I do that quite often now, and I would like to thank Hip Hip Renee for that. She was actually watching the stream, and I was complaining about how I really like these lights, but they were really dim, and she was like, why don't you take those, the little flat, like, ceiling lights and put above them? I do it all the time. And I was like, that is a great idea. So yeah, the reason why I do that a lot is because I like certain lights, but they don't make the room as bright as I want them to, so I'll put those over top of them to add a little bit of brightness, and I do it in almost all of my builds now. So thanks, Hip Hip Renee. You have started me on making sure that there's a bunch of, like, light in all of my rooms and builds and things like that. So, but yeah, so I still do actually go and make a few changes. 1, because I changed my mind a whole lot. 2, I got new custom content. 3, more expansion packs and stuff have come out since, well, only Get Famous, right? There's no game or stuff packs in between Seasons and Get Famous, I don't believe. Or am I forgetting one? I'm pretty sure there wasn't. Or maybe there was. I don't remember. The years sort of just smudged together. Anyway, so, yeah. But, in the end, I do really, really like how it turned out. I eventually move her room around a little bit again after doing this, because I decided to give her a closet, because I end up giving the guest bedroom and the 2 extra bedrooms, which are either going to be like kids' rooms or pet rooms, whatever they may be. I ended up giving them the big giant closets, and I was like, well, that wouldn't be fair for those rooms to have them and the master bedroom not to have them. So I do adjust her room again so that it has that option, and I really believe that the guest bedroom is actually bigger than the master bedroom, and possibly even the guest bedrooms. But I would imagine that Sylveon likes the fact that, one, the master bedroom is separated quite a bit, so you know it's a little bit more private, a little bit more of her little area, and it's also got a master bathroom attached to it, even though it's technically underneath it. So I would imagine that she actually likes the fact that even though it's smaller, it's got more benefits than the rest of them. So yeah, maybe. Oh well. Uh, Also, I'd imagine she's also the person that, you know, she wouldn't be like selfish and try to get the biggest room in the house either. She's just a really all around nice sim. Like, I think she's one of the few sims that doesn't have like any issues of mine. And that sounds bad, but if you watch any of my series, the Forgotten Family is the worst for it. But the Eevee family still has their few little um trials and issues and things like that here and there. Theirs is usually more of like a particular one trait, while the Forgotten Family has a few things going on. But I really think Sylveon is probably the only one who is an all-around good little sim. Like she hasn't like had any kids and not told her family about them. You know, she doesn't have any affairs or scandals or horrible boyfriend issues, anything like that. So, you know, I think in that term she's doing good in that way. But you know, time will only tell. But because I don't know who she's gonna end up with, so who knows? Maybe who she ends up with throws that little issue into the mix. But so yeah, back to the actual build. So there's a lot of pinks and a lot of blues. I feel like she is the one out of most of the Eevee family that her house, whatever house I would have ended up giving her, I would have had to make it scream her, versus I feel like some of the other ones could get away with it looking like a house that anyone could live in, but also you could strongly tell it was their house as well. So, but I do think that hers is a very, very unique house, but Sylveon is a very, very unique character. She's very, very happy, very, very girly, very, very much into pinks and blues at the same time. Like little cutesy things, fairies, and, you know, in general, she's also an artist, so in some degrees, just saying that someone's an artist, sometimes people's like, ah, that explains it. which is funny, because like I'm not an artist per se, but I am a creative person and I lean more towards the artsy side, so I'm just saying that about myself. But it's okay, because I am weird and I'm proud of being weird, so it's alright, it's fine. I don't care. But so yeah, I do hope you end up liking this build. It is different compared to a lot of the other builds I have, especially since it is highly geared towards an actual, for sure, sim. For the past ones, I mentioned how I sort of take a few sims and imagine maybe them living there just to try to bring some of their personality and bring personality to the build itself. But overall, I don't normally try to make it scream that sim, versus this one definitely screams Sylveon in every way. But I actually really, really love it. Like, the outside has like all sorts of flowers and rocks and weird plants and mushrooms, which are custom content. But I feel like when you think of fairy fantasy type thing, I think mushrooms is one of the things that pops up into my head. So, but yeah, lots of colors, though the colors are more leaning towards the pinks and the blues and all that sort of stuff. I imagine Leafeon probably helped her and came and like planted a lot of these plants. She was like, "Great bro, can you come help me make my place look all magical and beautiful and pretty with all the flowers?" And he was probably like, "Sure, I love plants." So, you know, he came around and came and helped her. Now there is another section over here, which is what I'm decorating as of right now, that is separated from the house again. So I put this as like her little artist area that is separated from the rest of the house as well. So it's all of her artsy stuff, mostly easels, but I do use, since I was using CC, I was able to decorate this room a whole lot. That's the thing that I like about CC, is the fact that you can, I think this is when I come across the mushrooms and I'm like, ooh, let me add all the mushrooms. But that's the thing I do like about CC, is the fact that I can actually add a few more personal touches, and there's a few more little decorative clutter items that you don't have in the game that you now have with CC. So that's my thing with CC that I really like about it when it comes to build and buy mode, is just to have more clutter objects and to give it more personality. And I feel like I have a lot of CC that's highly geared towards artists and things like that. So I was definitely like, let me add. And there was a lot more I could have added, but I didn't want to get it too crazy over the top because I mean, I think Sylveon would still try to keep some organization into her art room. Now, Vaporeon, maybe over time she won't, especially since Lynn is also getting into the artwork, so it'd be two artists in the same spot. So that may not stay so neat over time, but that's if Vaporeon ever saves up enough money to get into that big giant house that I made. Anyway, so but I really did love this little area. It was like separated. I put a bunch of more lights in it, and I put like the actual glass roofing over top of it, so a lot of natural light is coming down in. I was just imagining, you know, like a perfect little artsy area for Sylveon, and natural light and light in general is a really good thing to have when you're working on art pieces and things like that. And it seems like the perfect place. I would love to have like a little separate, I mean, I do technically have an art room. Right now it's really messy because the Christmas decorations are stored in there, and also I just haven't had time to actually straighten it up, so I have a bad habit of when I need to straighten the rest of the house up and I don't have time, take the objects that I really don't need, stuff them into a room that no one's going to really see that often during that time period or particular event, and then wait till later and actually clean it. And the art room, sadly, is one of those affected by that. My room itself is also very messy because I put every other room ahead of my room because that's the rooms that everyone was going to be in. So, like, the living rooms, the kitchen, the dining room, the bathroom, those rooms are good to go. My dad's room and the guest bedroom are also good to go, but then the third bedroom and the art room and my room are trash, sadly. So anyway, well, that's just on a totally other subject as of right now. Back on to the build. I did include a sink in this one, which is something I haven't really done because I have a few artists in my like games at this point, especially in this main save, because this main save is the one that I play, the main one that I do, and you know, all that stuff. And I have a few different artists because I think I'm just geared towards actually, but yeah, I'm geared more towards actual like art myself, and I do like to paint and use colored pencils, watercolor, oil, acrylic, craft, you name it. I've tried quite a bit of it. I haven't tried everything, pretty sure, but I've tried quite a bit because I like playing around with different materials and different medias and things like that. So I was just sort of taking that mindset, and I was like, you know what, it's actually really good if you're an artist to have a sink somewhere nearby, because you have to clean off your brushes if you're painting any sort of paint, whether it be oil, acrylic, watercolor, whatever it may be. If painting in general, you need to clean off your brushes and try to keep them in good condition. And so I was like, you know, it'd be really handy to actually put a sink in there. And I haven't done it in any of my other ones, but with hers, I was like, you know what, let me do that. And you also may see me putting like these little paint things everywhere, and also trying to move things. I was trying to get it, there wasn't enough like spots on that one shelf, and I wanted that one shelf to look like most of her paints were there. And I eventually found a way to sort of sneak and hack it, and this one particular custom content actually allows you to sit things on it, and the way it raises up, it actually fit perfect for putting these at the perfect height. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm not being, it may look strange, and sometimes I put multiple objects, one object on a shelf a lot of times, just so that it stops like automatically clicking to those spots, and I just delete them afterwards. So if you ever see me doing that in any of my builds, that's what I'm doing. I'm just placing a lot of that object down, so a lot of the little slots for objects to click into naturally go away, and then I can use the whole BB move objects and then raise it up and put it where I want it to myself. So but yeah, this video is a little bit on the longer side, so I'm probably going to let music play for the last of it. I'm going to try to think, is there anything else I need to say? Oh, I think I was trying to mention at one point, this backside actually right here that's just showed up, hopefully as long as I put my voice right in timing. I meant to put like a little seating area and maybe like a downstairs grill, because she's got a grill on like that upstairs balcony section, but not one on the downside. So I was originally intentioned that's what it was, and that's why there's like a little rock pathway that goes back there. And in the process of trying to hurry up and decorate it as fast as possible, since my nieces were here, I completely forgot about it until, like, I did, like, the little tour thing, because my niece, like I was saying, I don't think I finished that statement at all, because I remember why I got started on that. But anyway, my nieces were here, and they wanted to see the tour, well, at least the oldest one wanted to see how the building turned out, and I didn't realize it until then that I didn't actually, put any seating area back there and stuff like that, which really annoys me, so it's not on there, which is frustrating, but you know, hey, whatever. I'll get to it later. I didn't give her a washer and dryer because I didn't think she was the type that would necessarily want a washer and dryer. Like, I think she likes technology and electronics to a certain extent, but I also feel like she's one of them that would try to cut back a little bit and try to do some things herself. But anyway, and try to do like eco living a little bit to a certain extent. Two other things that I remember. One, you're probably seeing on the screen right now, which is I'm testing out some umbrellas to figure out which one. And it first looks like I'm putting it in a really awkward spot. But the reason why I did this, and I do add a chair to try to make it look like there's a reason why this umbrella is here. But the main point of that umbrella is to try to protect that speaker music system. Because anytime you put electronics outside anymore, since of seasons, if it rains, they instantly get fried. And you have to repair or replace them. And if you're in an area that rains a lot, which I think Windenburg might, or either it snows a lot, one of the two, or maybe a little bit of both. But anyway, because this was done in Windenburg, and that's where I'm going to be placing it in my save. So it's no point of replacing or repairing it until the weather clears up, and you just don't know. Like, it may be a few days in a row that it actually rains, so there's no point in doing it until those rainy days are gone anyway. So it's like, and I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, the umbrellas do protect the electronics. I do know, like, there's like a little glass thing that you can get. It's either from Get Together, I think I want to say it's from. It's like a little glass, like, awning like thing that you can put out there. I do know that one protects it, and I'm pretty sure the umbrellas do, which is why I did that. But I put the chair, so it made it look like the umbrella was actually there because of the chair, but it's actually there because of the speaker, so that they can have music all the time, and also wouldn't have to worry about replacing it and spending money to replace the speaker over and over again. So, but yeah, and the other thing is the area up underneath the artist thing. What I did want to mention it when I was building it. I try to remind myself constantly, and I almost forgot to actually mention it. There isn't much going on there. I feel like that area, she would probably use it as, like, when parties are going on, so I'd imagine that she wouldn't put a whole lot underneath there to begin with. All she has is, like, a little archway thing. It's a custom content archway based off of a thing that actually came with the romantic stuff, but it actually can be used as a wedding arch. And does it come with a statue in it regularly? I feel like maybe it came with a statue or something in it when you actually get it from the romantic stuff, but this version doesn't have it in there. Maybe you can get the plain. I don't remember exactly, but this one's custom content as a wedding arch, but it's the one of the things from the romantic stuff pack, and I used it to put I put a stereo up underneath it to just sort of give it that decorative element, and the stereo's there because, you know, I imagine that she's gonna have parties and stuff there, and there's like little swings like hanging down off the artist loft thing. But I also, since I used that, I did purposely pick that because, one, it looked cutesy and adorable like Sylveon would do, but also I could imagine I could move the stereo system and it could be actually used as an actual wedding arch, because I would imagine that Sylveon would be the type that would actually prefer her wedding not to be at a particular huge event, and I could see her doing it at her house and just setting her house up really prettily. But that section is made for basically events, parties, things like that. So depending on the time of year, the party, birthday, whatever it may be, that area will probably change once I put it into my main save and Sylveon actually moves here. But yeah, that is partially, the planning is to partially make that a wedding area as well in the future. That is a little insider thing that you can now know. And I really hate these are custom content counters, and they stick out, the corner ones, and the stove does too, but you don't notice that because they're actually inside the wall, so in the end it doesn't really bother me, but at the same time it sort of bothers me. But yeah, so anyway, and now you know that I do plan on Sylveon moving into this before she's married, versus the rest of them are sort of moving, well, Vaporeon and Espeon didn't actually either, so Umbreon's actually the only one married anyway. But Vaporeon does have her significant other living with her, so, you know, I don't have plans for Sylveon to move in with her significant other or to have her significant other move in very quickly, unless her and Mewtwo actually really work out. But there's just something about that couple. I just don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it still. But anyway, that's something for the Eevee family series. That's something to discuss over there. Though if you want to discuss it down in the comments here, feel free. But anyway, I'm going to actually stop talking, and I'm going to let music play for the rest of it. The screenshots are going to be towards the end of the video, so if you want to go, make sure you stick around to see the screenshots. I've recorded a lot of videos today, so my mind is like all over the place, and I still have a lot to do house-wise, but, you know, I may be neglecting the house a little bit, it's fine. But definitely let me know down in the comments below what is your favorite part about this house, and are you excited to see Sylveon move in and actually start seeing this house as in the Eevee series, Eevee family series, and be seeing it played in. Also, I will have this on the gallery for you to download. Technically, there is custom content, so you will have to click that include custom content. You will not get any of the custom content that is in this build, so I know that's sometimes someone's fear, especially if they haven't fooled around with the gallery a whole lot. You won't get any of my custom content by downloading this house. All it will do is either replace it with stuff in your game that it thinks is close to the custom content that I used, or it will just get rid of it altogether, and all you'd have to do is replace it with something that you do have in your game. Now, if you do happen to have some of the custom content that I do, it will stay, and it will show up, but otherwise, you just need to replace it with something that you have, but the base structure of the build will be there, and any of the items that are actually in-game items that you have will still be there. So, you can feel free to download it if you like to use in your own world. And the name of it is going to be the Fairy Hill Cottage, and my origin ID is Artistic Gamer 7. That will be down in the description below. If you forget it when you go to look on the gallery, you can always click back on the videos and actually see them. And yes, I did just put a little picture of a little Sylveon, the actual Pokemon. I do plan on sneakily putting those in all the houses that the Eevees eventually move into, so keep an eye and tell me if you ever can find all of them. Umbreon's is actually already up in his house somewhere, so let me know if you actually have seen it yet, if you've been watching the Eevee series, or if you've at least caught glimpses of some of this, like the ones with Umbreon's house in them, because I'm sort of intrigued to see if anyone ever finds all of them, to see if it's a thing, but now you know where Sylveon's is, but who knows, maybe I'll move it before the actual series goes in. Woo! But, yeah. So, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Also hit that like button if you're enjoying the video and enjoying the build. And I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the music and enjoy the rest of the video. And, you know, all that good stuff.
So good at pretending, keep on smiling in my tiny bubble, like a movie without ending, spending time like it was going backwards, bruises covering my walls but they fall down, diving deeper in the books that we read blind, breathing in and breathing out to get smarter, not working out for me, yeah. Meditation through the yoga lessons, going greener by the minute. Soon I can't wear any other colors. Bruises covering my walls, but they fall down. Diving deeper in the books that we read blind. Breathing in and If I keep feeling like I'm missing something, don't you worry about me, yeah. Don't you worry about. Got no money on my mind, tell my mommy I'm alright. Even laughing at the jokes you tell me. Keep myself inside the lines, neat and tidy all the time. If you ask me, I am fine. Got no money on my mind. I am so good at pretending. Keep on smiling in my tiny bubble, like a movie without ending. Spending time like it was going backwards. Bruises covering my walls, but they fall down. Diving deeper in the books that we read blind. Breathing in and breathing out to get smarter. Not working out for me, yeah, yeah. Got no money on my mind, tell my mommy I'm alright. Even laughing at the jokes you tell me. Keep myself inside the lines, neat and tidy all the time. If you ask me, I am fine. Got no money on my mind. Repeating patterns like the others. Meditation through the yoga lessons. Going greener by the minute. Soon I can't wear any other colors. Bruises covering my walls, but they fall down. Diving deeper in the books that we read blind. Breathing in and breathing out to get smarter. Not working out for me, yeah, yeah, yeah. Got no money on my mind, tell my mommy I'm alright. Even laughing at the jokes you tell me. Keep myself inside the lines, neat and tidy all the time. If you ask me, I am fine. Got no money on my mind. Don't you worry about me. If I keep feeling like I'm missing something, don't you worry about me, yeah. Don't you worry about. Got no money on my mind, tell my mommy I'm alright. Even laughing at the jokes you tell me. Keep myself inside the lines, neat and tidy all the time. If you ask me, I am fine. Got no money on my mind. I am so good at pretending. Keep on smiling in my tiny bubble, like a movie without ending. Spending time like it was going backwards. Bruises covering my walls, but they fall down. Diving deeper in the books that we read blind. Breathing in and breathing out to get smarter. Not working out for me, yeah, yeah, yeah. Got no money on my mind, tell my mommy I'm alright. Even laughing at the jokes you tell me. Keep myself inside the lines, neat and tidy all the time. If you ask me, I am fine. Got no money on my mind. Repeating patterns like the others. Meditation through the yoga lessons. Going greener by the minute. Soon I can't wear any other colors. Bruises covering my walls, but they fall down. Diving deeper so good at pretending. Keep on smiling in my tiny bubble, like a movie without ending. Spending time like it was going backwards. Posters covering my walls, but they fall down. Diving deeper in the books that we read blind. Breathing in and breathing out to get smarter. Not working out for me, yeah. Got no money on my mind. Tell my mommy I'm alright. Even laughing at the jokes you tell me. Keep myself inside the lines. Neat and tidy all the time. If you ask me, I am fine. Got no money on my mind. Repeating patterns like the others. Meditation through the yoga lessons.